So on your screen here in our Zoom today, as we go over WebAssign integration and D2L Brightspace. So welcome everybody. I'm Lauren Gordon. I'm a regional customer success manager here for Cengage. I cover most of Texas. And today in our session, we are going to be going over the benefits of integrating your WebAssign course into your Brightspace LMS. We're going to go over a few recent updates, some changes, a couple things to consider before you actually integrate your course that are really important. Then we're going to go live into a D2L Brightspace shell and walk through what the integration looks like when you're pulling in your WebAssign course. And then after the live demo, we'll talk about the student registration instructions, what that looks like from the student perspective on enrolling through D2L. We'll go over the different training resources that we have available to you and to your students, our syllabus resources on some verbiage of exactly what to put in your syllabus for your students to know exactly what to purchase and where to go. And we'll talk about our new All Access platform, and then we'll go into some additional Q&A if you all still have questions. So a couple benefits of integrating your WebAssign course into your D2L shell. So we now have, if you have used D2L and WebAssign previously, we actually have a brand new integration that is wonderfully seamless. It's very intuitive and easy to set up. There's no sort of LMS admin involvement on that end. You can share your courses easily with your colleagues if you need to. You can very efficiently customize exactly what content you want to include into your LMS course shell, and pick which assignments you want to come in. And you can create, schedule, update assignments anytime. You can provide a direct link to assignment so students have a direct access into that assignment. So it's a great way to keep your course really organized. If you have it set up by weeks or chapters, you can put those homework links directly when it's relevant. And then you can also provide a direct link for students to access the full ebook. So just really easy, seamless integration. And then, of course, when we do pull in those assignments, that allows us to have the grades integrate into your gradebook and have those grades automatically sync over into D2L Brightspace. So lots of really great things to integrate, reasons to integrate. All right, so a new recent change. So if you are familiar with WebAssign, you know that in that score view, we do have those ND and NS notations, which mean the not downloaded and not submitted on the student side. And so now faculty no longer need to manually enter in zeros for those ND and NS scores for those students that haven't done the work or haven't submitted the work. So the way to do this currently right now is to do a manual sync. And so in the screenshot here, you'll see there's a button in your score view that says send scores to LMS. And when you press that, that will automatically send zeros into the Brightspace D2L for all those NS and NDs that students have in the score view. So in the future, those are automatically going to push on the due date. But for right now, if you want, as soon as you want those zeros to start populating, you can go ahead and do that send scores to LMS button from within the WebAssign score view. So a couple really important things to consider before you integrate your WebAssign course. If you already have a WebAssign course built in your WebAssign account, then you are going to have the option to just link to an existing course. One very important part of that is that students cannot be in that course. So it has to be an empty course, no students rostered in there. If you are a school that uses parent-child section management, then you're going to want to go into WebAssign, create those parent-child courses, and then whenever you're ready to integrate them, you're going to choose the link to my existing course option. This is the first semester you're transitioning to a new edition of the textbook. If you guys are familiar with this feature in WebAssign, we have an edition upgrade tool that allows you to simply upgrade a previous course into the new edition. So if you want to use that feature, again, you're going to want to go to WebAssign first and build your course there. Use that edition upgrade tool there. And then after you get all that set up, then you can go into D2L and link to that existing course. And then if there is another instructor allowing you to copy their course, or you are allowing somebody else to copy your course, you'll want to make sure that if they want to edit the assignments, then they need to go into WebAssign first, create the copy there, and make sure you check that box that says make a copy of all the assignments. That way they have the full editing capabilities, and then they can go into D2L and choose the link to an existing. Because in D2L, you do have the option to copy another instructor, but it's going to copy it without that option to make copies of the assignments. So you won't have the full editing capabilities if you try to build in D2L first. So just a couple things to think about before you get started with integration. Another really important thing is your course part of inclusive access? So inclusive access, which a lot of schools have now, is where the students have actually purchased their course materials through like the course fee or through the tuition when they register for classes. And so if your school does have that, we want to make sure that when you pull in the book, and we will see this when I go live into the demo, that under the license type, it does say inclusive access there instead of the student purchase required. If there is any time that you make a mistake, do not worry, reach out to your rep and we can fix things retroactively, but it's best to go ahead and get that built correctly first. So pay attention to that license type if you're a school that has inclusive access. Okay, so now I'm going to go live into D2L. And Shannon, please, if any questions come in that require me to kind of like stop and go over it directly within D2L to show, just let me know.
Yep.
Okay, so I am in my course right now in Brightspace D2L, and I'm going to go ahead and go over to the course admin. And once I'm in the course admin, I can navigate over to the course builder. So the first thing I need to do is to create a module in my course. So I'm going to drag the book icon over to the middle, and I'm just going to create a module that says Cengage WebAssign Access and Resources. You can name this whatever you think makes the most sense for you and your students. I like this because what I'm going to put in this module is a link to the WebAssign course, the tech support link, the directions for students, those sort of things. So they have a place to go to get to all those things. I'm going to go ahead and click create. Okay, so now that I have my module created, I can put the Cengage content in there. So on the left-hand side, you should see in the add content section, you should see the Cengage tool available here. If you don't see the Cengage tool available here, that means that the admin needs to make it available. So please reach out to your account executive, your Cengage rep, and let us know so that we can work with your D2L admin in order to make that available to you. So I'm going to grab that, and I'm just going to drag it over on top of my module here until it turns orange. And then I let go. And the first time you do this, if you've never linked Cengage and D2L, you're going to get, before this screen, you're going to get a login screen. So it's going to ask you to log into your Cengage account. This is a one-time process that makes the connection between D2L and Cengage. So you don't have to do it each time per course. It's just one time at the account level. So I've already linked my account. And so after you link your account, you'll be taken to the screen that I am seeing now. So we have a couple options to select on what we want to integrate here. We've got our homework platforms and ebook. This is going to be MindTap, and of course, WebAssign, like we're going to be going over today. We also have a couple other products. We have our Cengage Infuse product, and then you can also link ebooks only. For today's purposes, of course, we want to make sure that we select the Add Homework platform. And I do want to point out, you never want to link the homework platform and then also link the ebook separately, because the ebook is in WebAssign. So I will show you how to link a direct link to the WebAssign ebook here in a minute. Okay, so then I'm taken to a page where what we call our content selector, where I can see all the books that are available at my institution to link into D2L. You can search with the ISBN, name, title. Let's pull in see what a Larson is in here. All right, so we've got, let's go ahead and pull this one again. Like I mentioned earlier, the license type, if you have inclusive access, make sure that it does say inclusive access on there. And so once I find my textbook, and if you do not see your textbook listed here, even after searching, and also I would recommend keeping this really more vague than specific, because if you get too specific, sometimes it doesn't find it, doesn't pull it up. But if you do not see your book listed here, again, reach out to your account executive. That means that we need to send the content over to y'all's server, which we can do on our end very quickly. So once you find your textbook, you can click link to course. And then here's where you get your course creation options. So I can create a brand new course directly from here. I can copy an existing course. So this would be if I had taught a WebAssign integrated in D2L last semester, and I just want to copy that from spring into fall, I have that option here, and it will pull up a list of courses that I can copy from. Again, there's that copy from a course key. So this would be if you have another instructor's course here you want to copy from. Like I mentioned a couple slides ago, if you want to be able to edit those assignments, you're going to want to create it on the WebAssign side first. And in that case, you would choose the link to existing. So when you click on link to existing, you would see a whole list of courses that you have available with this book to link to, and you just click the radio button and that's it. So for today, I'm going to create a brand new course. It does pull in my course name based on my D2L shell course name. I can add or change whatever that says. I'm going to choose my start date and end date. And keep in mind that if you don't have inclusive access, that, Cengage does have a 2-week free trial. For a regular 16-week course, we offer 2 weeks of free access for students. And that 2 weeks starts on the start date that you select here. So I would pick that date as close as possible to the start of classes to allow students to get that full grace period on the materials. And our end date here. And then it has already pulled my time zone based on my account, which is Central. So I will just go ahead and click continue once I have all that filled out. Perfect. It says import completed. It's going to take me back into my course builder. So now what I want to do is I just want to go and verify that it was created. So I'm going to go into my content now. And you can see there is my link to WebAssign. So one thing that I always like to do is edit the name of this to make the most sense for my students. So if I want it to say, click here to register for WebAssign, or whatever you think makes the most sense. And I'm going to refresh that to take it out of edit mode. So now it's a live link and I can click on it. And it's going to open a new window and open my course. Keep in mind that they're going to have the pop-up blockers turned off. I already have mine turned off on the browser, so that's why it's opening for me. And all of our directions do include directions on how to enable pop-ups so that your students know how to do it on each browser.
Hey, Lauren, we have a question in the chat about start dates being editable. Can you confirm
Yes,
if you're able to edit the start date of a course?
you are. So you can go, yes, you can go back and go into the edit class settings. Previously, you could not, now you can. So if you go back to the edit class settings, you would be able to edit the dates if you make any mistakes or anything. And so I'm taken to my WebAssign homepage where I have all my courses listed. So if you're teaching multiple courses, of course, you're going to see multiple courses. And actually, I don't see the one I just created. So we're going to give it a second. And if that happens to you, don't panic. It's just still creating it on the back end. So we probably just want to sign out here and then refresh everything. There it is. Okay, so now there's my course right here that I created. So now I'm actually going to add a couple assignments in here so that I can show you what the linking to the assignments looks like. So, and again, I can show you if I needed to edit the start date and end date, I could do that right here in the edit class settings. So let's go to my class view and let's get a couple assignments in here. So I'm going to navigate over to the class schedule. Oops. Okay, so I've added a couple assignments in there. There they are. So I'm going to go ahead and close this window. And I'm going to go back into D2L. So I'm going to go back into the course admin and the course builder. And a couple things that I like to include here is the tech support link, the Cengage Unlimited dashboard. I also like to include the registration instructions or any other resources that my rep has provided me that would be helpful for my students. For instance, we have our Start Strong website, which I have pulled up right here. So this link actually walks students through registration with the video and then a step-by-step with screenshots as well. So I want to add those directions in there. So I'm just going to copy this link and I'm going to go ahead and create a URL there. And I'm going to call it WebAssign student registration instructions. So I have those available. And then in order to add the tech support link, I'm going to go ahead and take this Cengage icon and drag it over my module again. And this is also how you will add assignment links as well. So now instead of that course creation screen and the content selector of all the books, I'm actually taken directly to the picture of the book that I already have integrated in here. And on the right-hand side, I see a blue button that says select content. So if I click on select content, you can see here is where I'm able to integrate additional items. So here are the two assignments that I actually added into my course schedule. But right now, what I want to add into the module I just created is just the tech support link, the ebook link, and the Cengage Unlimited student dashboard. So the tech support link is going to take them directly to our tech support website to create a case. So it's easy access for them. The Cengage Unlimited student dashboard is actually going to take them to their Cengage homepage. So if they are using Cengage materials in other courses, that allows them a very easy access to get to those other items. And then, of course, we want to add the ebook. easy access for them to get to the ebook. So I'm going to click continue. It says imported completed again. And then if I expand this, now I have my links added into here. So now if I want to add assignment links, I'm actually going to create a new module. And let's say I like my D2L to be organized by week. So I'm going to just do it a week 1 module. And now I want to go ahead and grab this Cengage icon again and drag it onto that week. So I'm wanting to put those assignments that I created in that week 1 for my students. So again, I click the blue select content button. And then I want to go ahead and select all the assignments that I want in that module. So by clicking the item on the checkbox on the left, that's going to add it into my content. And then the checkboxes on the right is what's going to add it into my gradebook and allow those grades to automatically sync over. So of course I can add items without them coming into the gradebook if I wanted to. But in this instance, I do want them to come into my gradebook. I want that auto syncing, makes my life easier. So I'm going to make sure those are checked. I'm going to click continue. And now my week 1, I have direct access to those assignments. Again, I can rename these links if I want, just like I did with my main WebAssign link. And then I can also move these around after the fact. So when I'm in my course builder, if I wanted to move around these, I could just drag and drop them into different modules. So if I wanted the getting started up there, I could leave it there. Okay, so if we go back to the content, I do also kind of want to point out quickly, depending on how your institution has set up the Cengage tool, you may also have the ability to add Cengage content directly from here with the Add Existing Activities button. So I like to work from the course builder. I think it just helps me stay organized, but if you have the ability to, you would see an Add Existing Activities button directly in the content. And then from there, you would see the Cengage content tool. And either way, it's going to take you to the same spot. Oh, it took me to a different spot. So if you have that option available, and it should have given me, so I don't, and if you get this screen, you don't want to integrate twice. Our demo has both instances on our server. We have both of them enabled, but you probably don't. So just know that if you do have this type of integration, you can actually come into here and add it. It takes you to the same spot either way. Any questions so far that have come in? And since I added those 2 assignments, let me go over to the gradebook to show you what that looks like. So of course I have no users in my account right now, so I'm going to go over to the Manage Grades button. And there you can see the 2 items that I've added from WebAssign into my gradebook. So you can edit these into, if you wanted to assign different categories to them, or anything like that. I would avoid changing this name because it does need to match what's in WebAssign and what's in D2L. Those names need to match. So leave the name as is. But if you want to, you can edit the short name. So if like this was like a chapter 1 quiz and I just wanted a shorter name to make my columns a little bit shorter when in that other view, in the intergrades view, I can change the short name there. And I would also avoid, you always want the long name, and also the points to match on both ends. So if I were to go into WebAssign and edit the point value here in WebAssign, but not make it match here, then that will mess up my grade syncing. So as a best practice, I always say, you can make that initial connection between D2L and WebAssign with that main link. And then I would go in and make any necessary edits to my assignments before I bring in my assignment links here, if that makes sense. Awesome. Well, that is definitely the basics of pulling in your course into D2L. Does anybody have any questions about that before I go back to the PowerPoint and talk about the other resources that we have available? Awesome. Oh, and I should also point out, these links do give students direct access into that specific assignment. But keep in mind that they can still navigate to like the home page after they've done their assignment or whatever. It still allows them to go back into the WebAssign main course and navigate to anything. So this is the assignment itself. If I want to go back to the home, I can do that, get to my ebook, all that kind of stuff if I need to. It just provides a direct access for me as a student. Have any questions come in, Shannon, or should I go? Am I safe to go back to?
You're good.
I think I see a question.
Oh, wait, hold on. I lied. There's a
I
question.
just saw one come in.
Let's see. Questions about, I'm just going to read it. Question about multiple sections of the same course using inclusive access. I have merged 2 sections into one course in a Brightspace D2L. Does this mean that I should create just one section in WebAssign rather than 2 sections? It's not clear to me how students get enrolled via inclusive access with multiple sections. So I'll chime in for a minute. Or do you want to take this, Lauren?
No, you can't. Go ahead.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong. We can only have one WebAssign course per Brightspace shell. So if you have merged sections, then that would be one. You would only make one WebAssign course for that Brightspace shell. And I don't know if I understand.
Yeah, so that inclusive access question, as long as they're still enrolled into the separate sections through registration, but if both of them are inclusive access, then it's fine. The issue would be if one of those sections was not inclusive access, it would cause some issues just on our end from the course availability, basically. So if they're not both inclusive access, I would not merge your sections. If they are, it's fine to set it up the way that you've explained.
And then we have another question. Can we then use release condition with these assignments?
Yes, you can. So if you are doing conditional releases on assignments in WebAssign, then yes. So if I had a second assignment after this and I had to complete this first, the students would not be able to click through to that assignment from D2L without having completed the conditional release that you have set on the first assignment. So it would take them into WebAssign, but it would say that they couldn't access it, basically. If that makes sense. I think I answered that.
We are
Awesome.
good, Lauren.
Okay, cool. All right. So of course, if you have any questions that you need verified after this, please reach out to your rep. If you're not sure who your rep is, we have our rep finder where you just plug in your school and it's going to tell you exactly who your rep is and all their contact information. So please use that if you're not sure who your person is. But certain questions like, is the content available to me? If you have any generic questions about LMS integration in general, please reach out to them. We are happy to answer questions for you guys. We have tons of training and support resources beyond this training that we're holding right now. So we have our webassign.com/LMS website, which is going to have videos, training videos, and support directly related to D2L integration, as well as some resources specifically for admin. So if your D2L team needs to access something, that's a good place to start. We also have our Cengage.com training website. And all these links we will be putting in the chat so you guys can copy, paste them, bookmark them now, so that you can reference them later. But on our training site, we have WebAssign training videos, user guides, both student-facing and instructor-facing. So that is an awesome resource. There's lots of how-to videos on there that will take you step-by-step to do certain things in WebAssign. Of course, our support website is support.cengage.com, and that is where you would go to create a tech support case. Just one second, let me get rid of my dog, but she's barking. Okay, and then we also have our Start Strong website. So that is that website that I was at where I pulled in those registration instructions for students right into my D2L shell. And so we also have that website as well. And you just go through and you select WebAssign, Brightspace D2L, and it'll get you the exact directions that your students need. If you are not sure what exact verbiage to put into your syllabus, we also have an awesome syllabus resource page that will allow you to kind of walk through a couple steps. It's going to ask you a couple questions, and it's going to provide you syllabus language based on what you selected there, based on exactly what you need. And then you can just copy and paste that in your syllabus, make edits as needed. And that way you don't have to worry about what verbiage you need to put into your syllabus, especially with our Cengage Unlimited option. I think that sometimes students aren't sure what exactly to purchase. And so it does make it really clear what is included in everything and what exactly they need for the WebAssign access. Here at Cengage, we also offer lots of choices for you and for your students. So we have the Cengage Unlimited e-textbooks. We have Cengage Unlimited. So of course, Cengage Unlimited is going to include access to that WebAssign platform. We have Cengage Unlimited for institutions. We have inclusive access, and then also the option just to purchase standalone. If you are confused or not sure what is the best option for you or for your students, please reach out to your rep and we can walk you through the different options. So that Start Strong webpage that I pulled in that link for the registration instructions, this is exactly what it looks like. And so you can go in and select your product. It'll ask you to select your LMS. And then the last question will ask you if it's an inclusive access course or not. And the difference between those directions, of course, is the inclusive access one is not going to show them purchase options, and the other one is going to mention the free trial and the purchase options. And then we also have our all access community. So if you would like to join that, we'll have a link in the chat for you to click on, and you can sign in with your Cengage credentials. You're going to consent to a couple items, and then you get directly into the all access community. And it's a great way to collaborate with your peers. I think there's like some fun ways to earn prizes and things like that. So it's a great way to kind of get more involved in get involved with other people using Cengage materials in their courses. All right. Any additional lingering questions for us? Check chat. So the chat has all the links in there for you. So if you want to just go ahead and copy and paste those and save those, please do so. But any other questions for us while we're here? We are here to help. And I know one thing that our region is doing, I know several regions are, is holding office hours in the next couple weeks to help you guys get your course set up. So if you're not sure if your rep has office hours or where to go for some one-on-one assistance with course setup, please reach out to them and they can let you know where to go. And if there are no questions, we thank you guys for attending today and listening to our webinar. And thank you for being a Cengage customer and using WebAssign.